From Orlando, Florida and Tulsa, Oklahoma, welcome to the 1330 Podcast with your hosts, Keith Neighbor and Brent Bailey. Pulling from nearly half a century of experience, Brent and Keith share unique wisdom and proven insight to build the leader within you. Interact with us now on Facebook and Twitter at 1330 Podcast or email your questions and comments to 1330podcast@gmail.com. The 1330 Podcast starts right now.
Welcome back to another 1330 Podcast with Brent and Keith. I'm Brent Bailey.
And I am Keith Neighbor.
And we are talking about friends. In our last podcast, closed out with Keith reading a scripture. And we want to pick up right there. Go ahead and read that scripture again, Keith.
Ecclesiastes 4, verses 9 and 10 says, "Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up." And Brent, that just expresses how important others are to us in life. And so many times we think, we get to a point in our lives where we think that we can just do everything, and we feel like we have to do everything. We're Superman.
Sometimes we feel like we can do everything.
Well, yeah, and we're Superman, and we go to our fortress of solitude, and we don't need anybody, and we hole ourselves up in our office, and we don't have friends, and we don't spend a lot of time with other people, and that really wears on you. And when we do run into issues in life, if we don't have anybody who can help us, where does that leave us?
In a really miserable place.
It is, and life is no fun to go through by yourself. I know a lot of people that they're kind of running through life right now by themselves, and they are absolutely miserable. They long for a relationship with somebody else. They're in, they got transferred for work, or and they got moved to a new city, and they just don't have the relationships, they don't have the support system, and they just sit around their house all day long. They go to work, and they've got, work friends are work friends. We all think, hey, we're really close, we're always going to talk, and we're going to do this. And, when we moved apart, when we stopped working together, Brent, we're an aberration.
Yeah.
Because most people that stop working together, the relationship ends because all they have in common is work.
Right. And there's very few people that worked with us that I still talk to.
Yeah. And we had
you're the exception. I talk to you at least once a week.
Yes, absolutely. And I was going to say, and usually more than that. And I've got a few people like that in my life, and I just feel really bad for the people that are out there that that are in ministry or just going through life in general that don't have anybody that is there to that they can lean on and rely on during those hard times in life.
And I believe that, that's kind of an old school ministry mentality of the minister can't be,
around the people,
can't be friends with people. The other side too is, though, from the business aspect, that a lot of the big upper echelon executives can't be friends with people because then the people won't listen to them and won't do what they're told.
Yep.
The thing is, I think that's because the idea of having a friend has been pointed to as almost like common, like you're making yourself common,
right?
And the thing is, not everybody works for you, and not everybody comes to your church.
Yep.
And not everybody is looking to you for leadership. That means there's people out there that can be your friend.
Yes.
There are people out there that can have a relationship with you. I know that we'd like to think that our ministries are literally going to touch the whole world. But the fact of the matter is, the only one who did do anything close to the whole world still hasn't gotten to the whole world.
Yeah.
Jesus died for the sins of the whole world, and he still hasn't reached the whole world.
Yeah, we're still here, so we know he has.
So there are people out there that are interested in you as a person and not just you as a pastor or CEO. And you need to find out who those people are.
There's always people that are out there that are going to kind of look at you as a rock star, so to speak.
Right.
And they're just going to want to be around you because of your position. And those people are usually pretty easy to ferret out.
Yeah.
At least it was for me. I was always able to figure out the people that just wanted to be around me because I had a position.
Yeah.
There were very few people that took a genuine interest in my life. They were more interested in what I could do for them than what they could do for me.
Yeah.
And we talked before. I have 4 people in my life, you being one of them, that take an interest in my life.
Yeah.
That you care about. You're not just in this to say, well, Keith, what can you do for me? You're in this relationship with me to say, what can I do for you?
Right.
What do you need? And there's been times where I've received phone calls from Brent that were, hey, I'm really struggling today and I'm having a bad day and I just need to talk to you. And I'm there for him. But I've also had just as many, if not more times where it's like, hey, I was thinking about you. Are you doing all right today?
Yeah.
And, and it's yeah, I'm doing fine. Everything's good, and it was a very timely phone call. And I've had that happen with, where I've done that with him as well. It's like, man, how things going? And, and we all want to be tough guys and, nothing affects us and we're made of Teflon and nothing sticks, but we all know that's not true. And I've had those same conversations with him where it's like, dude, starting a church, that's a lot of work, man. It is a lot of work. And it is, there's a lot of, issues and things that he has to confront, and, people were there, then they're not there. And that's hard on a guy.
Yeah.
And in a new city where he doesn't necessarily have the biggest support system that's there to back him. And I've called him and said, hey, Brent, I just want you to know I was praying for you today. And he's like, man, you don't even know how much I needed to hear that and how much that means to me. And it's not like it's a made-up, contrived thing. I genuinely was praying for him. I'm not going to call him and say, hey, I was praying for you if I didn't pray for him. Because I love him enough to actually pray for him.
Even something simple, though, I watched your service this morning.
Yeah. Yep.
You did a good job preaching or something like that. Those mean a lot. And the thing is when you feel like you got somebody in your corner, you can fight a whole lot harder.
Yeah.
And, that's and me and you've had this conversation a million times. Since we stopped working together, that probably the hardest thing that we both had to overcome is it's lonely.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about substitutes for your wife or,
no.
That's a whole nother family.
Or your husband or family. Yeah.
A family is a whole nother thing.
Yep.
Okay. I'm talking about friendship, relationship, somebody that you're, that you can be yourself with.
You can laugh with.
Have fun with, and that kind of thing. And, our job together happened to just be something that we both like to do. So it was like there was common ground there. But being a youth pastor, you kind of get to do all the fun stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So when it was time to go to see a midnight movie with the kids from the youth group, well, we wanted to go see it anyway. But it just so happened that the whole youth group was going to go and see it.
Right.
So we got to do those kind of fun things all the time. And you don't know how much that kind of stuff is a stress reliever in your job.
It recharges you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly.
How many times did we sneak out during an afternoon and go watch a movie?
More than a handful.
Yeah.
But not a million.
It wasn't, it wasn't a weekly thing, but
no.
There was times where we'd been working hard. We'd had a lot of stuff going on, and it was like, you know what? There's a movie that we want to see. And we would just leave and not really tell anybody and go watch a movie and come back. And it wasn't like we were trying to get away with anything.
Right. But no, it would be like after a week at summer camp.
Yeah.
Or,
it wasn't.
It was like after we'd been busting our hind ends for a week. It wasn't like a sneaking off type of thing for the sake of sneaking off. We were
to
just
try and get out of work.
Yeah,
it was just, And we needed something to relieve some stress. And we usually tried to go to a movie that was funny.
Yeah.
And where we could laugh and just kind of be there.
And and so what are you trying to say today? We're trying to say that a friend doesn't just need to be somebody that's there through the hard times, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
When they are.
And necessary.
But you need to have somebody that you can blow off some steam with. You know what I mean? And you see a lot of this, I live in Florida now, so you see guys on the golf course doing this all the time. You see, some CEOs or businessmen or whatever, they're pastors out there playing golf with other gentlemen, and you can tell they genuinely like being out there because they're swatting each other with the golf club or whatever. You think, really, are you telling me that I need to have a buddy? Yeah,
absolutely, you do.
You do.
It would be better if you had more than one.
Yeah, because that fun time is and those fun things are melting stress, which is literally putting years on your life.
Yes.
Keith and I both being youth pastors at a mega church is a stressful job. It's a great job. I would never exchange that 11 years for nothing.
Oh no, not at all. And the 16 that I was, I wouldn't trade them back.
Not at all. You couldn't give me, couldn't give me anything for that.
No, not
but
at all.
On the flip side, that's hard work. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
And it does. And if you let it, it'll take years off of your life.
And the people that don't do it and haven't experienced it. I mean, I had people that were like, "Well, I mean, what do you do all day?" I mean, all you do is a service on Wednesday night. I mean, what else? How do you fill up 40 hours? I'm like, 40 hours?
Try 70.
I was going to
say
80.
Try 120. I mean, there's not 120 in a week, but I mean,
but I'm just there was like I wish 40. I mean, 1440.
1440.
Isn't that minutes in a day?
Yes. Well, no. I thought you were making fun of the podcast name.
Oh, no. 1330 is the podcast. Speaking of which, 1330podcast@gmail.com if you have questions.
There's 168 hours in a week. That's what I was trying to get.
Yeah.
I said 120,
But when we come back and you look at this, you need, those times in there with people, because people that don't do it, that don't do ministry or a high-level position, don't understand the pressure that is on you to perform and to be on all the time. And it's really nice to be able to go hang out with somebody. I don't have to be on.
CEOs feel it just as badly, to be the CEO of the company that especially if it's a big company and they're looking at your company, the media looks at you. You have to be on all the time.
Yeah.
Celebrities feel that way too. Find somebody that you can let your hair down a little bit with and be in a relaxed, fun state, that has permission to see you that way.
Yeah.
Somebody that you're not trying to boss, you're not trying to be a minister to. Obviously, we need to live right. We need to live a godly example, but find somebody that to take the stress level off of you and just chill. I can't tell you how many midnight movies I've seen with this guy sitting right here. I literally couldn't tell you.
It's been a lot.
It's a lot. I can't tell you how many times him and his wife and me and my wife have gone out to dinner.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times we've just taken off and gone to Dallas. I can't tell you how many road trips we just, had to go to Springfield, Missouri and pick up paintballs. I mean, just stuff like that. That was just, I'm getting out of the office stress-free today just in order to make this happen. And it was a worthwhile investment.
If you don't have somebody like that in your life, Brent, we need to pray. You need to ask God to put somebody in your life that you can be real with and they can be real with you. And I really believe that it was important because Jesus had somebody like that in his life, and if he had them in his life, we should have them in ours. So we're coming to a close today. We thank you guys for listening today, and we'll get back with you soon.
Thanks for joining us for the 1330 Podcast with Brent and Keith. We want to hear from you. Find us on Facebook and Twitter today at 1330 Podcast or email us directly at 1330podcast@gmail.com. Join us next time for another 13 minutes and 30 seconds geared to change you into the leader that you and those who follow you want you to be.